Stream of oil. It's just a narrow stream of oil. The biggest problem is going to be the dust cloud that gets kicked up because it's online and the cars following won't be able to see anything. But we've obviously got a formation lap. Drivers may try and stay off it on the formation lap just so they don't get anything on their tyres. But I think it'll be visibility rather than slipperiness.
Well, let us see. We have the 16 laps in prospect. The cars leave the line. Green flag flies then for this final formation lap. And now, as ever, things start to change. Different weights, different tyres, and a very different grid from first time around. The one constant being that Josh Cook is on pole position, but now on the option tyre. And so too, Dan Cammish alongside him runs that hard tyre. Aidan Moffat on the option tyre starts third. Brett Smith, definitely one to watch in this, will go from fourth ahead of James Cole, and Matt Neal's on the option rubber as well. On row 4 of the grid, you get Chris Smiley, one to watch. Tom Oliphant, who did come into contact with Adam Morgan in race 1. Colin Turkington's now in the pit lane, not on the grid, but Rob Collard is there, starting from 10th ahead of Ash Sutton and then Jack Goff. Tom Ingram is next with Rob Austin for company. Tom Boardman is on the 8th row. Alongside him is Jake Hill. James Nash, sad to say, missing because he's in the pit lane, but we do have Ollie Jackson ahead of Bobby Thompson and then Andrew Jordan. 21st is Rory Butcher, Adam Morgan for company ahead of Michael Caine and Jason Plato. On the 13th row there is Josh Price and Mike Bushell ahead of Sam Smelt and Tom Chilton, one to watch to make progress here. Stephen Jelly will start a row behind him with Matt Simpson alongside, and then it's Sam Tordoff, another man to watch, and Senna Proctor likewise. Proctor, don't forget, even though he's at the back of the grid, still has to carry the ballast he earned for where he crossed the line. So he still has 21 kilos on board. 75 kilos for Josh Cook, 66 for Dan Cammish, 57 for Aidan Moffat. The cars get lighter the further back you get. Rob Collard, ballast-free, could be one to watch here, but he's on the harder tyre, of course. That's the negative for him. And just to confirm that Senna Proctor, starting at the back, is on the 21 kilos of success ballast for his finishing position in race 1. The back of the grid isn't a penalty per se. He's at the back of the grid because of the number of strikes that he has earned, as there James Nash, helmet off, is a non-starter.
Yeah, great shame, and well, it's just it was summed up, wasn't it, by the Proctor's gate quote. It's 95% disappointment, 5% disappointment. We've gone from a race winner to back of the grid on his third strike, and poor old James Nash pushed off the grid where the car is showing one of its most competitive forms.
Indeed, and Colin Turkington still in the pit lane. If they can get the car into the race, good, but if he loses a lap, it becomes a very long race, almost a pointless race in itself.
And Colin was starting from a really advantageous position because he was starting 9th on the grid with just 9 kilos of ballast and the prime tyre. So had he he could even have won this race and then been well up for the third race. So this is a major points loss for Turkington.
Yet another, of course, unfortunately. Jake Hill, incidentally, there he is our Forever Forward leader, the Dunlop Forever Forward Award for overtaking. So he's gained 15 places in race 1, 14 places Rob Collard, and 13 for Tom Boardman. So let's see what Jake Hill can do now, starting 16th on the grid, a man to watch. Quickly, who's going to win? He says,
I'm actually going to say James Cole or Chris Smiley.
OK. Well, James has had one win, Rockingham last year. Chris Smiley has not had a win, and what a result it would be, especially for BTC Norlin, given that one of its 2 cars is Order Combat even before we get to the start of the formation lap. Senna Proctor at the back. Sam Tordoff's progress is going to be interesting with this electrical come gearbox problem from race 1, and Colin Turkington's car is good to go, we understand, from the end of the pit lane. So he will join in from the pits and see what progress he can make. If there's any drama at Redgate, he'll be behind it, not in it. The green flag waved at the back says everybody is good to go. Turkington is at the end of the pit lane. He's at pit out. It is round 5 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. There's a 5-second board being displayed to the drivers, who then focus on the lighting gantry. Lights will go red, and then let's see who makes the best start when the lights go out now. Good start by Cammish, not a great start by Brett Smith, a good start by Rob Collard, as you would anticipate, as they run down towards Redgate for the first time. Cammish leads the way. Cook second and trying to defend from Moffat on the inside. There's a lock-up from Brett Smith on the outside line, and he drifts out very wide. Matt Neal gets up past him, so Cammish leading. Cook is second, third is Moffat, fourth was Cole, but Smiley comes up alongside him on the outside line. Through the dust they come downhill, and Chris Smiley goes through, but look at Rob Collard, who already is up into 6th place in the BMW.
Yeah, no surprise there. Rob Collard making a great start. Remember, he still gets that rear-wheel drive car off the line very well. A lot of cars looking like they've got cold rear tyres, and add to that the difficulty of visibility. But Dan Cammish is leading his first British touring car race.
On the harder tyre, so let's see how the tyres stand up in this race. It is Cammish ahead of Cook, who's on the hard tyre, ahead of Moffat, who's on the hard tyre, and then Smiley on the softer rubber. Collard is up to 5th as Cole slips back a spot. Then it's Oliphant. Ash Sutton is next ahead of Tom Ingram as they work their way over the curve and through the dust for the first time. Moffat now makes his move on the inside, and the Mercedes, looking so strong this weekend, breezes on by up the inside, and Moffat takes 2nd place coming into the chicane. Smiley, though, is the man to watch in the VTC Nordic. Grey Honda in 4th place because he's on the faster tyre as they come up over the line, and he now challenges Josh Cook, and that's Rob Austin getting sideways in the background. The Alfa Romeo goes around, and it does make contact with the wall.
Smiley down the inside, he's inside Cook. Nice, clean, decisive manoeuvre. Don't run out too wide. Has Cook got back inside him? Oh, he's touching with Aidan Moffat so nearly off at a very dangerous place. Although, has he got damage to the rear? Moffat may have further damage. I think he might have some suspension damage. He's a bit of a roadblock there.
Absolutely right. It looks as though something might have been tweaked in that, whether it was the tracking or a tyre. Either way, up into 2nd again is George Cook. Chris Smiley 3rd, and Aidan Moffat is 4th. But yes, he's lost pace, and he's now the roadblock. As he said, the cork in the bottle as James Cole in the yellow Ford dives up the inside of a sideways. Rob Collard doesn't gain the place. Look behind them. Tom Oliphant is under attack from Tom Ingram. The Karlsruhe Coppice replay of the start tip.
Great reaction and great traction from Dan Cammish. Remember, the front car's very heavily ballasted, but Cammish did a perfect start and got well ahead into Redgate on turn 1, which was great news. This is on board with Jack Goff coming down into the chicane. And you've got Oliphant and Ingram there. Good run through the chicane by Jack Goff. I thought we were going to see. There we go. Back to Cammish, still leading. Breaking off the oil. And dive up the inside. That's Cole, and he's through, and he's taken Ingram with him. Ingram's looking like he's going to get 2 for 1.
Fantastic. For the lead, Smiley is catching Cammish. He's done the fastest lap of the race as Ingram goes ahead of James Cole coming down the hill. So the championship leader absolutely flying. And Rob Collard, every time he makes one step up, he gets a step back at the moment because other people seem to get past him. However, Aidan Moffat is coming back at Josh Cook, and Chris Smiley is hunting down Dan Cammish for the race lead. So last time around, Smiley was a 10th quicker, and Josh Cook is not disappearing away from Smiley. He's staying with him.
Well, as you looked up at the monitor, Smiley had a massive moment on the braking coming around the left-hander before Coppice. An absolutely massive slide. He held it very well.
The danger here is becoming Tom Ingram because he's absolutely charging up the pack. He's another, remember, on the faster tyre, on the prime tyre, and as they come down towards the chicane, he's carving his way up the order, closing on Aidan Moffat as there Rob Collard gets elbowed out a little bit wide. Ash Sutton's up alongside him. Rory Butcher is next in the queue in the MG. You've also got the Audi there looking to gain ground of Ollie Jackson as they come pouring over the line. So, deep breath, Cammish leads, Smiling, Cook is 3rd, Moffat 4th, 5th is Tom Ingram, in 6th is James Cole, 7th is Jack Goff, Tom Oliphant is 8th, 9th now Brett Smith, 10th is Ash Sutton, and there's contact between Ollie Jackson and Rob Collard coming out of Redgate, and Jackson is sideways, he's on the grass on the inside at Hollywood, and he now toboggans his way across the grass, and hopefully he can blend back in without causing Carmageddon. He picks up one of the Dunlop markers, he gets in the way of Josh Price, but actually everybody has avoided driving into anybody else.
Yes, but very unfortunate to end up with that marker board on the front. The team have obviously told him he's wiggling to try and get rid of it, but not sure. He needs to get some lessons off Gordon Shedden on how to remove debris from the car, but this is all going to depend on how quickly Smiley can catch up with Cammish. Cammish is doing a great job on the hard tyre with 66 kilos.
We're getting reports back apparently from Cammish that the road is very slippery. We've also had Rob Austin after his spin doing the fastest lap of the race, and Cammish leads, and then you've got this battle pack building up for 2nd place. Smiley, Cook, Moffat, Ingram, then it is Cole and Goff. Jack Goff, remember, 2nd in the championship, so he's kind of shadowing Ingram, isn't he? Everything told Tom does. Goff there just staying with him as they come down towards Redgate. Goff dives up the inside of Cole and he goes through. That was a good move and he puts him up into 6th place now. As coming out of Redgate, Ingram tries to move forward a spot as well, and he does so up the inside of Aidan Moffat. So 1 gain for Goff, 1 gain for Ingram.
Yeah, they're moving forwards, just what they want, put themselves in the right place again for race 3, get good points in this race and race 3. You probably leave here with a good championship position.
And Jack Goff has done the fastest lap of the race now. Camish to Smiley is 1.2 seconds. Turkington is back in the pit lane, incidentally, in a very forgettable race. Ollie Jackson is in the pits, complete with the trackside furniture. And Jack Goff battles his way up towards Coppice. Camish, it is, still in the lead. And James Cole back ahead of Jack Goff then. They traded places going into Redgate. Cole is back ahead coming into Coppice, and Jack Goff will be back on the inside line down towards the chicane. They're level pegging. The Honda against the Ford, the Civic against the Focus, and Jack Goff asserts himself and picks up the place in the braking zone.
Yeah, good clean racing between those two. They're both mindful of their position, I'm sure, but that was good clean racing. Let's have a quick look at the lap times, and Camish did an 11.26 on the last lap, Smiley an 11.0, so only a couple of tenths quicker actually. I mean, Camish is doing a fantastic job with the weight and the hard tyre.
And we've got Jack Goff up past Moffat. Ingram now, he's ahead of Josh Cook, so that puts Tingram up into 3rd place. Up into 5th, look, is Goff. 6th is Cole, 7th is Moffat, 8th is Oliphant. In 9th place, currently Brett Smith. Adam Morgan is up into 10th place. That's another excellent effort, bearing in mind he started 22nd. So both these Mercedes, in fact all 3, because Oliphant's there as well, don't forget, all 3 of the Mighty Mercs are looking good as Brett Smith dives up the inside of Tom Oliphant for 8th place, going into McLean's. And doesn't quite make the move. Stick in the background, there is Sam Tordoff coming out of McLean's. Now remember, Tordoff started 31st and he was 14th at the start of the lap as Brett Smith goes to the inside of Moffat. Oliphant and Morgan, who needed to kiss and make up after race 1, are absolutely side by side. Look at this, it's like a rolling start down towards the chicane. Morgan into the back of Brett Smith. Smith goes ahead of Moffat, and the 3 Mercedes are as one, with Moffat, Morgan and Oliphant being the order. Rory Butcher is with them, Ash Sutton is with them, there are cars everywhere.
Well, great job by Brett Smith, because he got 2 cars in that little melee. A really good aggressive touring car drive.
Rory Butcher around the outside now, and he's going to try and get past all the Mercedes in one move. Well, he gets 2 of them. That was excellent. Aidan Moffat's the one slipping back. We know he's on the harder tyre anyway, plus possibly damage from earlier on in the race. But Moffat now is the one losing places. Sutton goes ahead of him. Collard comes up on the outside, but Morgan is making great progress forward. There is Sam Tordoff. He's running 14th from 31st on the grid.
Yeah, that's going to help him, isn't it, in the forever forward awards. But yeah, fired up Tordoff, great to see. And with cars in front on the harder tyres, slightly slower, holding him up, he's been able to close up. But look at Morgan and Brett Smith are absolutely flying, aren't they? So Oliphant's back in the game.
But so is Rory Butcher, because he's in this mix as well. He's chipping his way back into contention as they come down to the chicane. Fascinating fact 37 is that last time Smiley and Ingram did identical lap times. Matt Simpson has done the fastest lap of the race down in 29th, and Brett Smith, making this car very wide indeed, is now just leading the 7th place battle pack. The lead gap is coming down though. Smiley is only 3 tenths away from Dan Camish as they start lap 8 of 16. You're looking at the fight for 7th. It is Smith from everybody. Sutton hurls the Subaru up the inside of Oliphant and goes through and gains another place. That now puts him 9th. Adam Morgan is all over the back of Brett Smith for 7th as they come downhill. Oliphant fights back. Sutton was ahead at Redgate. They're side by side through the crater curves. This is brave stuff, and Tom Oliphant gets the place back on the inside of the old hairpin. Fabulous.
Well, this is why Tom Oliphant wanted to go British Touring Car Championship racing, because he's not frightened of anyone and loves to get stuck in. But Sutton's round the outside now as they approach McLean's. Look at it, side by side. It's like a NASCAR race.
But Morgan is the mover. He's up the inside of Brett Smith for 7th place. The Mac Tools Racing Mercedes goes through, and Sutton, the opportunist, gets the same line, so he gets up past Brett Smith, and now the door is open. Oliphant wants to leap through the gap as well. Can he do so? Brett Smith tries to move across on him, but Oliphant is almost alongside on the inside. He can't quite get there. Down they come towards the chicane. Morgan ahead of Sutton, and then Oliphant does just go ahead of Brett Smith, who goes all over the curve, and that compromises the exit. Now he's 3 for the lead. Camish, Smiley and Ingram as one at Redgate. Fantastic race. There's everywhere you look, there's a battle going on. Behind the top three, Cook is fourth, Goff fifth, sixth is Cole, seventh is Morgan, eighth is everybody else.
If you ever wonder why drivers want to take part in the British Touring Car Championship, just take a look at this as Smiley goes through on Cammish. Ingram's going to get him on the run up the hill, probably as well round the outside. Cammish knows he's wounded. He's probably going to let these two go. A third place would still be magnificent if he could hold on to it with the weight and the hard tyres, but Smiley and Ingram absolutely always going to get him.
Here's the move then, down to the old hairpin, gap on the inside. Smiley needs no second invitation, and Tom Ingram tries to make the move as well, coming out of the corner. So Chris Smiley leads for the first time for BTC Norlin, but he's got the championship leader, the reigning independence champion, Tom Ingram for Speedworks Motorsport, right up behind him. Is this going to be Tom's second win of the season, or can we have a fifth different winner from 5 races? Chris Smiley, the pressure is on. He completes 9 laps of 16, and now he has got to make that Honda Civic wider than a wide thing. Into Redgate, then nose to tail for the lead. And for 4th and 5th, Josh Cook and Jack Goff are together. Smiley leading, Ingram is second, Cammish is third, and Goff is up the inside now into 4th place.
It's a great battle, a great battle. Well, Chris Smiley's been promising us that when he got a car underneath him to do the job, he would deliver, and now he's got the opportunity to do it.
But he's not done yet. He has got the championship-leading Toyota of Tom Ingram behind him. There's a yellow flag in the first sector. We saw one of the Audis parked. I think it was Sam Smelt's car. And so as they come now up through McLean's corner, the 2 leaders, nose to tail. Ingram goes to the inside. Can't find a way through there. They turn their way out of Coppice. This is lap 10 of 16. And this is Ingram's chance. He gets a tighter line coming out of Coppice. Smiley moves across. Ingram is there. This is the move for the race lead. 2 wheels skim the grass. Tom Ingram is on the inside line, and he goes through to take the lead of round 5 of the championship into the chicane. The Toyota then it is that comes out ahead at the end of lap 10 over the timing line. And Tom Ingram it is then who started 13th leading the way, but Smiley is not going to give up without a fight.
Well, Ingram's being shown on the timing streets as having the hard tyre on, but he hasn't. He used the hard tyre in race 1 when he had maximum ballast on board. So that's an error on our timing screens. He is on the prime tyre, the same tyre as Smiley. You can see the yellow sidewalls.
Absolutely so. Chris Smiley then spurred into life. He wants that lead back. Bit of traffic up the road as well. So behind them, have a look at Dan Cammish. He's being reeled in now by Jack Goff. And here's Aidan Moffat, who is in 11th place. And behind him is Chilton, who's done an amazing job up from 28th on the grid to be 12th. Tordoff is 13th, having started 31st. Collard has yo-yoed a bit in this. He is 14th. 15th is Matt Neal. 16th is Brett Smith, who's gone tumbling down the order. But he's on the prime tyre. And then behind him, there is the charging Jake Hill, doing it again as he did in race 1. And then it's Tom Boardman behind. And then it's Andrew Jordan. And then it's Stephen Jelly. Come pouring through the line for 11th place is pretty much the rest of the field.
Yeah, anybody could get to the front of that one. This is on board with Jack Goff. He's now caught up with Dan Cammish as Dan Cammish struggles on those tyres. Obviously, the weight only adds to the problems with the hard tyre. But the trick for Cammish now, as he just locks up a little, is to try not to lose too much time. If he defends overly, the group behind Goff will all catch up, and they'll be all over him. So he needs to keep his pace or let Goff go, one or the other, but not lose too much space.
Honda's old and new, the current shape, the new shape, driven by Dan Cammish versus the familiar older shape Civic in the hands of Jack Goff, who, of course, by being 4th and Ingram leading, is giving away points to his championship rival. Chris Smiley is staying on the back of Tom Ingram, but can he get the race lead back? Let's see. This is Goff's chance up the inside going into Coppice. The room is there. Can he brake late enough to make that move? No, he can't. Over the curve he goes, but Cammish in the flatter low-line Honda Civic hangs on to the pace. Behind them is Josh Cook, who is on the harder tyre, as is Dan Cammish, of course. We're on lap 12, and Ingram has lost a bit of ground on that lap, we understand, after a slide. Smiley running second, Cammish third, 4th Goff, 5th it is Cook, and 6th is Cole.
Moment for the leader. He does like to throw that car around. He has that car set up so loose, in other words, oversteery, just to preserve the grip on the front tyres. If you have the front-wheel drive car set up understeery at all, it wears the fronts too quickly, so the more oversteer you can live with, the better. And Tom certainly gives us value for money, gives the photographers a lot of great shots.
Adam Morgan started on the grid way back 22nd. He's running 7th and has done the fastest lap of the race. He was saying after race 1 he thought his weekend was ruined, but he's in the top 12 for the reverse grid. There is Sam Tordoff with a bit of front damage. Now, Tordoff turning through in 12th place. He also could really benefit for race 3 if the right number is pulled out of the bowl. But he's got front damage. But remember, 12th he runs and 31st he started.
Yeah, and of course, it's 12 cars that get up to 12 that get reversed now. So he could luck in. As Morgan now, he looks like he's got enough. He's got enough out of Coppice to get up the inside, down into the chicane. Cammish wisely, he's not fighting it. You can already see Josh Cook closing in the mirrors as well.
So Jack Goff goes through, that puts him 3rd. Cammish tries to fight back as they come across the line. The gap between the leaders is 0.6 of a second. Side by side for 3rd. Cammish is not going down without a fight as they break for Redgate, but on the outside line, unless he can get the switchback on the inside coming out of the corner, which he can't, he's going to have to settle for 4th place with Cook and Cole closing behind him. It's like a barbecue, isn't it, Cook and Cole? Anyway, down they come through the Craner curves. Morgan is 7th, 8th is Sutton, and fair play to Cammish, he's still fighting.
Well, I think into Redgate, he just wanted to make sure he had the best line. As we see Collard, Moffat, side by side down the Craner curves. Moffat gives up, and through goes Collard.
There is Brett Smith then, trying to defend from Aidan Moffat. And Collard having a really odd race here. I know he's on the hard tyre, but he's yo-yoed up and down the order. Colin Turkington is serving another pit stop as they try to get to the bottom of this water system problem and treat this race as a test session. So Adam Morgan fastest lap of the race, Tom Ingram leading by 0.6. We are on lap 14 out of 16 in another of those races where you want to hide the checkered flag, and we are not done yet because there's still a lot that can shuffle out of this. The battle is on lower down the order between Brett Smith and Aidan Moffat. The race leaders have gone by with now the gap being 9/10 as Ingram gets away from Smiley. There you can see Dan Cammish coming under attack from Josh Cook. 4th and 5th they are, and there's Adam Morgan with that fastest lap point to his credit. Can he gain another place before flagfall?
And very impressive to do that on lap 12. I know we had some oil down early on in the race, which might have made the track a little bit slippery, stopped them doing their fastest lap. But it shows what a good balance Adam Morgan's got in that Mercedes, and he's got time to still get a couple more places, but Cammish is going to start to fight now because there's only a couple more laps to go, a lap and a half.
Absolutely right, in another epic race. What a season we're having as Dan Cammish comes under attack from, of course, the winner of the first race earlier on in the day for his maiden win, Josh Cook. Behind there is James Cole, and Adam Morgan looking for a way by, away by Cole up the inside of Cook. Can't do it yet, and all of this enables Adam Morgan to choose his line coming around the outside out of Coppice. So Cole now gets into the draft of Cook, but he's got Morgan on the outside line looking to buy into this as well, and this will be for 6th place. To the inside of Cook goes Cole, and he goes through. Morgan gets past both, does he? Because Cole's off the road at the chicane. Morgan jumped Cook, and he comes out of the chicane ahead of James Cole. Brilliant stuff by Adam Morgan, starting the last lap. Great opportunistic move, and he goes 5th.
He does, and that was a good move. It was all going to kick off in that chicane. Of course, this is all great news for Dan Cammish, and he's learning now that if you've got a group behind you, that's Turkington, very disappointed, but if you've got a group behind you fighting it out, you can maintain your position. That's given Cammish a little bit of a gap on this final lap.
So, Tom Ingram leads round 5 of the championship, looking for a 2nd win of the season. 2nd is Chris Smiley, and 3rd is Jack Goff. 4th, heading the hard-shod cars, Dan Cammish's Honda. 5th, Adam Morgan. 6th and 7th, Cole and Cook. From Sutton, then Rory Butcher 9th, and Chilton 10th, having started 28th on the grid. So Tom Ingram it is, down towards the chicane. He led onto this last lap by a 2nd. Chris Smiley probably doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. He's led, he's been up there, and yet so close to a win. He's going to be just denied by last year's independent champion. The checkered flag is at the ready, and round 5 is going to be won at Donington by Tom Ingram for Speedworks Motorsport. Chris Smiley takes his best ever in 2nd place, and Jack Goff 3rd, and then Cammish just fending off Morgan as they come across the line by 0.3 of a second.
Well, you know, up until this race, we'd had 12 different podium drivers. We've now had 2 on the podium, Ingram's taken 2 wins, as we saw Andy Jordan just coming across the line for a disappointing 18th place. We've not seen the pace of the BMWs. I know that they're not favouring this hard tyre, and Collard was obviously on the hard tyre, and we lost Turkington, but we've not seen the real pace of the BMWs. But a great second victory, a really important second victory for Tom Ingram. Used his car perfectly, having shed the weight and the hard tyre from race 1, and now of course he's also going to be in a good position for race 3. So good driving.
And there's the experience growing in Tom and the team as well, because even from Friday afternoon when they were setting up, they were already talking towards race 3 and thinking about, you know, getting rid of the weight and moving forward on the weekend.
Yeah, strangely, on the back of Tom's car, his left rear tyre looked like it had a very different sidewall colour to the left front. Now, whether that's just as a cause of rubbing bodywork, look, you see the back tyre looks like it's, I'm sure that must be just paint. It might be just paint off another car, but yeah, it made me wonder, hold on, if they put the wrong tyre on that car.
Fingers crossed they haven't, but all the tyres are
You can see why I have a concern. That doesn't look very yellow to me, does it?
No.
But anyway, I'm sure it's an innocent explanation. I certainly hope so for his point. Anyway, but a great job by Smiley to come in second. He's showing that he's one of the new group of fast young drivers that deserve to be at the front. And Goff again, you know, Goff and Ingram are the two that most likely this year to look like they're going to force a championship run and get it together. But boy, what an impression Cammish has made on the championship so far.
Just explain as well, because we can see so many of them doing it in this one shot. Why are they moving to the different sides of the road and almost driving on the marbles? What's the purpose?
It's literally because they're so close on ride height and they've all failed the ride height at the wrong times. Any amount of tyre pickup, marbles that you can get to stick to the tyres will lift the car up in ride height measurement. So you go on those on the, look, right, even to the point of driving around the outside of the chicane to get as much rubber on them as possible.
So you see, there is a plan.
And driving very slowly as well to let the car recover on its springs and dampers.
Yeah, indeed.
That's another part of it.
See the way Tom Ingram moves from one side to the other, up the curb, over the grass, and now down the pit lane. Well, it is a second win of the season for the championship leader, Tom Ingram. Another action-packed race won by Tom Ingram. 8/10 up on Chris Smiley, taking his best yet. Jack Goff third. Dan Cammish fourth, ahead of Adam Morgan and then James Cole. Seventh goes to Josh Cook, ahead of Ash Sutton and then Rory Butcher, with Tom Chilton, another great drive, up into 10th place. Sam Tordoff 11th from the back row. Tom Oliphant 12th from Rob Collard, Brett Smith and then Aidan Moffat. Out of the points, Matt Neal, Tom Boardman, Andrew Jordan, who's 18th from Stephen Jelley, and Jason Plato down in 20th spot. 21st, Rob Austin, ahead of Senna Proctor from the back of the grid, then Jake Hill from Bobby Thompson, Matt Simpson 25th, ahead of Josh Price, Michael Kane is 27th, then Mike Bushell, Ollie Jackson, but we lost Sam Smelt, I'm afraid, 8 laps before the end. Also, Colin Turkington with all sorts of dramas, and James Nash sadly never got into the race in the Honda. Tom Ingram's championship lead is 8 points from Jack Goff. Dan Cammish third from Adam Morgan and Josh Cook. Ash Sutton, the reigning champion, 6th from Smiley, Turkington, then it's Moffat and Proctor in 10th. So Tom Ingram is a race winner for the second